Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Happy Wednesday, hump day. Here we are, midweek. Glad to have you aboard.
Very interesting stuff going on, Bill.
Sure is.
Do you think that the Republicans are actually growing a backbone, or
maybe we're seeing signs of it? It might have been grown in the Wuhan lab. Who knows? But nevertheless, growing it is, because there's going to be an impeachment inquiry that's different from an impeachment.
Yes.
All right, we're just asking questions at this point. It's like when you go to a judge and you say we have reasonable doubt, or we have reasonable doubt. We have reason to believe that we need this warrant for so and so, and that's what this is all about right now. And of course, if you listen to the Democrats, you know they're lying when their lips are moving.
Yes, of course. Well, the other thing, Bill, is
there's not a shred of evidence that the president had anything to do with this.
Exactly. Well, it's amazing how the tune changes and how we need to have
sure
some normalcy and not go on these political witch hunts.
That's right.
But one of the things that I think is kind of interesting is that this is a precedence that was actually set by Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House. Originally, you had to have a vote in order to do an impeachment inquiry. But because Nancy Pelosi decided on her own that they would be doing the impeachment inquiry for Trump, Kevin McCarthy announced yesterday that they would be doing the impeachment inquiry, and they didn't need a vote.
And Nancy Pelosi has announced that she is going to run for re-election, and she's doing it because the people of San Francisco. You didn't hear this?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The people of San Francisco have begged her to do this because she's done so much for the city and how wonderful it is, and so she just can't turn them down. The America needs her. The people of San Francisco are begging her to do this. So Nancy has announced that she is going to run again for another term. And of course, they're going to be stupid enough, I'm sure, to reelect her.
Yes. Well, the voting in California isn't exactly what I would call up to par with where it should be.
Yeah, right.
But Chuck Schumer actually was out and about, and he found the press. Imagine that. He found the press when it came to this impeachment inquiry.
Very dangerous up in Washington to get between Chuck Schumer and a microphone or a camera.
I think the impeachment inquiry is absurd. The American people want us to do something that will make their lives better, not go off on these chases and witch hunts. The bottom line is, as we've said, you can only accomplish keeping the government open in a bipartisan way.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck Schumer. Where were you 6 years ago?
They have no sense of irony.
No.
The batteries in their irony meters need recharging badly.
Well, you know who I was waiting to hear from on this was Senator Fetterman. I've just been dying to hear his comments.
Yeah, everybody, we're on pins and needles here on waiting to hear what Fetter person has to say.
I ask you about this news that Speaker McCarthy has formally launched an impeachment or has said he's going to.
Oh my God, really? Oh my gosh, it's devastating. Ooh, don't do it. Please don't do it. Oh no, oh no.
So we gotta run back to the office, but
He's a slave to fashion, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's something else. I'll say that much. He's he always looks like he's going to sleep or
taking out
going
the trash.
To the yeah.
Yeah. In fact, usually most people dress better when they're taking out the trash.
Yes.
But that's a different story.
Yeah. Also, the mustache is weird.
Yeah. Thank you, Pennsylvania, for this. By the way, they're still looking for that murderer up there, but I'm sure the walls are closing in.
Yeah. Well, also, Lizzie Warren brought up a good point. Wait, I thought he couldn't respond to spoken questions. He had to have it read to him, ?
Right. Well, I think the guy that was with him was telepathically in connection with him, so it was taking care of that for him.
Yeah, I mean, I need one of those, Bill. Yeah. That would be really great.
And let me say about this guy they've been looking for over 2 weeks now, that the murderer from Brazil, the illegal alien from Brazil who murdered his girlfriend and in front of his girlfriend's kids, stabbed her 38 times. And I'm thinking that maybe we could give him some sort of a pardon of some kind if he will start teaching our special forces and Navy SEALs on how to hide.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got 500 police looking for him for 2 weeks. And they said, like a confined, like a half a mile, a square mile area. and he's in this thick woods and everything else, and been spotted. He showed up at the homes of fellow workers and things like that to get a backpack, to get a rifle, to get a van. But we can't get this guy. So I'm thinking maybe we just let the Green Berets and Navy SEALs take his courses and maybe give him some sort of a shortened sentence.
Well, not only that, I do believe that Pennsylvanians are taking matters into their own hands because there is a $20,000 bounty on this guy.
25.
20. Oh, they raised it.
25,000, yeah.
Okay, they raised it. So, but we do have some concerned citizens.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about, people. There is are you out here? Do you normally put these on here?
Only one dudes are running around with 20 grand price tag.
You're looking for the 20 grand. God bless you. Be safe. See what I'm talking about?
Well, that's one way to get some money, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. In this economy. Oh, and speaking of which, let me give kudos to Governor Brian Kemp. He has suspended the gas tax on gasoline and diesel fuel here in Georgia again. And and he's doing it because he said of the inflation and the fact that this Congress and this president have out of control spending.
And I don't disagree with him, but I wonder why it's only a month long. Why are we doing it a month at a time? I don't think the economy is going to change in a month, Governor Kemp.
Well, you see what happens. You see what you're going to do. I mean, he suspended it only for a month the last time, and then extended it. I think it lasted 6 months or 8 months. So it'll go month to month, I guess. I don't know what, and maybe that's the parameters he has. I mean, he might be able to do it. He can't do it in perpetuity.
Well, I mean, it's interesting how bad it's gotten, Bill, and the fact that people are still. I think the average person has $10,000 in credit card debt right now. What's going to happen when all that comes and people can't pay the bills? They're going to have to pay the rent first. Credit cards are, I mean, you can go after people for them, but I mean, there's no value to what you can get based off that money. Where if someone doesn't pay their house payment, you can take the house. Yeah. When it comes to credit cards, there's no collateral.
Take the credit card.
Yeah, go for it. No good anyways. It's probably maxed out.
We're
10
taking
grand.
Your credit card from you.
So I think that could be a devastating thing if that comes to pass. I am grateful that he suspended the gas tax, especially maybe a little bit of foresight on his part as well, because they just canceled all those leases in Alaska. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that maybe played a role in why he decided to do it now. Someone is helping the escapee, Lizzie Warren says, and Lizzie Warren says gas tax suspended, and it is still way above the price when Donald Trump was POTUS.
Well, yeah, we know
Yes,
that.
yes.
Nothing we can do about from that standpoint. But
no, I think she's just making a point that Biden is terrible.
Yeah, right.
So thank you for that, Lizzie.
Yeah, appreciate it, yeah.
He is terrible.
Well, headline news.
Yes. Well, the other thing that has happened is another insurrection that no one is talking about, Bill.
I know. I mean, Kevin McCarthy's office was raided by was it Antifa, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQX04?
People that want something for HIV passed.
Okay, HIV.
Yeah.
We want something for cancer passed too.
Yeah. But
I think this may be the worst thing that's happened since Pearl Harbor. Pass what, McCarthy?
It's
It must be the bill.
Yes,
it must
it's
be something to having to do with HIV.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. But I'm thinking I'd like to see these people. I want 33 years.
At least, because this is the Speaker's office. I mean, we saw the guy that just he didn't even talk to Nancy Pelosi or engage with anyone. He just put his feet on the desk. He's looking at some serious time. I think he
really is.
So these people, I despise these people, Bill. Like, they're annoying. They have nothing going on in their lives. And so this is the stuff that they do.
Well, what annoys me is the fact that they're not going to be charged with anything.
No.
Or if they are, they're not going to get any jail time.
No, because Steve Stanton Sr. also brought up that Dems are exempt,
That's true. Yeah.
And
It's great to be a Democrat.
here's the other thing. Are they even Democrats at this point? I'm like, you guys are just, I mean, they're communists, they're socialists,
Exactly.
they're not American.
Well, the Democrat Party ought to just rechange its name to the Communist Party of the USA.
Yes, Democrats for Socialism, I think, is one of the things that we're seeing right now. So that's exciting.
Yeah. And if you go back, if you have gotten your button nose past the cover of a history book, you know that communism or socialism, whatever you call it, it's nothing new. It's never worked. It has never worked in history. It's always been a disaster.
Well, and I think, and communism kills how many people, Bill?
Oh, too numerous to count. But this is what we're faced with, and this is what happens when the communists and the socialists take over our education system and the media. But I repeat myself.
Well, and here's the thing, Bill. I don't understand why we've allowed it to get this bad. I mean, we have had so many opportunities to stop this stuff, and over the last 10 years, it has just gotten... 10 years ago, if you told me some of the stuff that was happening, I'd be like, never. It would never happen in America. And that's probably how we got here. We all thought that it couldn't happen here. And now we're getting hit with it at every angle, with the school system, with, you name it, they're coming after whatever we believe in.
Because we're told not to believe it. We're told that this is really not happening. This is really not that bad. The CNN reporter that was standing outside in Kenosha, Wisconsin, not Kenosha, but what was it?
Waukesha,
with the place burning down, said, see, they're out here demonstrating, but as you can tell, it's mostly peaceful. And you see the place burning down. They keep telling you, don't pay any attention to this. Look at the shiny thing over here. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your eyes. And people keep saying, well, it's not going to happen here. It won't happen in the United States. They keep telling themselves that. And it's happening. They keep reelecting people that should not be held, that don't have any business having that kind of power.
Well, here's the other thing, Bill. I think that people need to check on their kids. When you're sending your kids to college, I'm sorry, I don't think that I could, in good conscience, unless they were going to Hillsdale or something like that, send my kids to college just because of what they are producing out of college. Case in point, UNC Chapel Hill, they, unfortunately had a shooting on campus a few weeks ago, and they were invited to come to the legislature for their bravery. And of course, the chanting broke out to vote them out. They were trying to honor these people for being brave. And now basically you have a bunch of activists that are saying, we want gun reform. We want you guys to, do some serious law changes to guns. And I don't think people realize that if you start reforming what we're allowed to do with our Second Amendment, it puts you at risk. Because guess what? Criminals, they don't follow that. They don't care.
No. In fact, the governor of New Mexico was even asked that question when she said she was going to put this 30-day ban on guns after a couple of kids had been killed, and said, what a reporter asked her, you think the criminals are going to pay attention to this? You think they're not going to have guns? She said, no. But she feels better about herself. And doing something that's unconstitutional. And thank God for the sheriff out there who said, we're not going to pay any attention to this.
Not only the sheriff, did you get the news on the AG? The AG said he will not represent the governor in any cases that come about due to this ban on guns, because guess what? The lawsuits are already piling up, and the AG typically does defend the governor.
Well, yeah.
And guess what? It's not going to happen in New Mexico. So good luck to you, governor, out there. I hope that this takes you out of office.
Maybe she can get a Wiseman or one of those characters that managed to get the 9/11 and the January 6th people indicted.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, Bill. With the governor doing something like that. So I know a lot of people from New Mexico. They are not left-wing lunatics. So I don't understand what has happened in this state. But I think we also see people running for office that are not qualified. I even think a lot of people that are running in some of the offices here, they are running for office because they see it as like a side paycheck. I don't know. I don't understand. They're not qualified to do the job that they're applying to do.
Exactly.
And yet here they are running, and people will vote for them based off of a name, based off of, different things, but they don't do any research. It's beyond me, Bill.
Yeah. They just, if there's a D by their name, that's who they're going to pull the lever for. And that's pathetic. But we are going to be talking a little bit later on the show with a guy who is running for office with a purpose. Pat Rossiter is running for the Alderman at Large District 2 seat, and we'll be talking to him in a few minutes. But coming up next,
we are going to be seeing what's going to happen with the speaker and his promise to the brave 20 at the beginning of January, who stood up and said, these are our conditions if you want to be speaker.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll find out next. Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Are you a mom or dad? Do you have little kids with big dreams? Well, hopefully your kids aren't white or Asian, because if they are, they will have a very hard time getting into their dream college or landing their dream job. Top schools and corporations are run by left-wing Democrats, and they openly discriminate against whites and Asians. So even if your daughter has the best test scores, even if your son has amazing grades, even if they spend extra hours studying and doing everything right, it won't be enough. Unless you suddenly discover that you're part Cherokee, or transgender, or in the country illegally. Otherwise, your kids are out of luck. Which begs the question, if Democrats are hurting your children, why would you ever vote for them? Stop the bigotry. Stop the insanity. Paid for by Citizens for Sanity.
I don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. And just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy. And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Okay, speaker. Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Matt Gates to the rescue again.
Yes. Could I be more grateful for him? I think that there are so many fractions of the Republican Party, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true.
He is a nationalist populist, America First guy. And I think that people confuse being America First with not wanting to work with other countries. And that's not the case. It's just all the decisions need to be, does America come first in them? And is it benefiting us or is it benefiting someone else? And really, the leader of the country and people that represent us, they should be concerned about what's good for America and not what's good for their own pocketbooks.
But this is nothing new. There was a philosopher about over 100 years ago that said timid and interested politicians are far more concerned about the security of their seats than about the security of their country.
Ooh, doesn't that ring true?
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Gaetz, one of the things I respect about him is that he came out and said, you know what, I've gotten a lot of criticism. I haven't done enough. And you're right, I haven't. So he's kind of becoming more aggressive and speaking out on things. Really quick before we get to the Matt Gaetz clip, Lizzie Warren says Chatham County case search should be your first stop when evaluating a candidate's qualifications. Very true. And Lizzie Warren says another candidate appears to have avoided service by sheriff's department on multiple financial civil suits. Oh, that's exciting and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people you want in office, right?
Exactly.
People that don't obey the law but want to make sure that you pay more taxes. Really exciting stuff. Politics is fun. Just get involved. You'll see.
Yeah. You'll get frustrated, but please get involved, or we're going to go down this road even further.
Well, here's the thing, Bill. As Republicans, we are learning to have a little bit more fun.
Exactly.
There is the I think it's called Far Right beer that is here in Georgia, and they just released something called the Revenge. So it's based off of Donald Trump. We're just having fun with things, which I think that we need to get back to. We're fighting back and having fun while doing it. So it's exciting.
Well, let's continue to have fun because there's a lot of fun to have.
Yes,
we
there
got
is.
plenty to do
Yes.
between now and November of next year.
Yes. And one of the things, so vacating the speaker, there's a lot of promises that Kevin McCarthy made that he has not lived up to.
Mm-hmm.
On this very floor in January, the whole world witnessed a historic contest for House Speaker. I rise today to serve notice. Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role. The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair. We have had no vote on term limits or on balanced budgets as the agreement demanded and required. There's been no full release of the January 6 tapes as you promised. There has been insufficient accountability for the Biden crime family. And instead of cutting spending to raise the debt limit, you relied on budgetary gimmicks and rescissions so that you ultimately ended up serving as the valet to underwrite Biden's debt and advance his spending agenda. Mr. Speaker, you boasted in January that we would use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. But here we are, 8 months later, and we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. That's how you know that the rushed and somewhat rattled performance you just saw from the Speaker isn't real. At this point, during Democrat control over the House of Representatives, they had already brought in Don Jr. 3 times. And we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. Power of the subpoena and power of the purse. Only thing the 118th Congress is known for at this point is electing Kevin McCarthy Speaker and underwriting Biden's debt. And unfortunately, there's only one of those things we can remediate at this time. Power of the purse. Our leadership right now is asking us to vote for a continuing resolution. A vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the Green New Deal, a vote to continue inflationary spending, and in the most troubling of fashions, a vote for a continuing resolution is a vote to continue the election interference of Jack Smith. Mr. Speaker, we told you how to use the power of the purse. Individual, single subject spending bills that would allow us to have specific review, programmatic analysis, and that would allow us to zero out the salaries of the bureaucrats who have broken bad, targeted President Trump, or cut sweetheart deals for Hunter Biden. September 30th is rapidly approaching, and you have not put us in a position to succeed. There is no way to pass all the individual appropriations bills now, and it's not like we didn't know when September 30th was going to show up on the calendar. I must be better, you must be better, and this House must be better, for it is the last best hope for tens of millions of Republicans. We demand real oversight against this weaponized government. Just look at the bribery. If tens of millions of dollars flowing from foreign corrupt people into the bank accounts of the Biden family wasn't enough for actual impeachment, why were we even looking? Joe Biden deserves impeachment for converting the vice presidency into an ATM machine for virtually his entire family. We all see it. We all know it. Now, moments ago, Speaker McCarthy endorsed an impeachment inquiry. This is a baby step following weeks of pressure from House conservatives to do more. We must move faster. Now, I will concede that the votes I have called for will likely fail: term limits, balanced budgets, maybe even impeachment. I am prepared for that eventuality, because at least if we take votes, the American people get to see who's fighting for them and who's willing to tolerate more corruption and business as usual. Mr. Speaker, dust off our written January agreement. You have a copy. Reflect on the spirit of that agreement and build on the start that we had moments ago. Begin to comply. No continuing resolutions, individual spending bills or bust, votes on balanced budgets and term limits, subpoenas for Hunter Biden and the members of the Biden family who've been grifting off of this country, and the impeachment for Joe Biden that he so richly deserves. Do these things or face a motion to vacate the chair. And let me alert the country, a motion to vacate might not pass at first, but it might before the 15th vote. And if Democrats bail out McCarthy, as they may do, then I will lead the resistance to this uniparty and the Biden-McCarthy-Jeffries government that they are attempting to build. I know that Washington isn't a town where people are known for keeping their word. Well, Speaker McCarthy, I'm here to hold you to yours. I yield back.
Bravo.
I would not want to be on his bad side.
That's right. Yeah, what he just said goes for me double.
Yeah, I think that people are tired of the same old thing in Washington.
Exactly.
And, you know, they have not reduced spending. I have had, yeah. Well, and I have had one of our elected officials tell me, you know, we're never going to get a balanced budget, which I'm not okay with. Why can't we get there? You guys do not need to spend as much money as you're spending.
We have one in Georgia.
Yeah.
We have one in South Carolina. We have one in Florida.
Well, quit sending money to Pakistan for gender studies. Like, how about that?
Yeah.
How about we start reducing some of that spending? There's plenty of ways to reduce spending. The other thing is for all you people that want socialized healthcare here, let's have a conversation. Where's the money coming from? Are you okay not sending money to Ukraine to get your socialized healthcare? I mean, we need to start having these real conversations with people, because people think that money can just be printed and it doesn't impact us. We are living in a time where they have printed so much money that everything is so expensive and the dollar isn't worth what it used to be.
Exactly. I can remember as a kid going downtown with $3 in my pocket. You went to Morrison's cafeteria for lunch. You got meat, you got 3 vegetables, you got dessert and a drink, 85 cents.
Wow.
Went to the movie. It was the kid's price was 50 cents.
It's $30 just for tickets to a movie now.
I know. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Well, and here's the thing, like, you know, it's hard to enjoy things when they're that expensive all the time. And they do become less and less likely for people to go to. And what happens? We're seeing it all over the country. How many empty movie theaters are we seeing, Bill?
And it's one of the reasons that the U.S. dollar became the standard currency around the world, is because of our stability. And now just printing it helter-skelter is not doing the job.
No, and here's the thing. It will take time, Bill, but if we don't get a handle on things here, it's not going to matter, because once we're not the prime currency anymore, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. And we have to wake up. You have to get involved. You have to vote. And please vote.
And do your research. Don't just vote for a name that you think sounds good. Like, that's a terrible way to vote. Lizzie Warren says, wow, Matt Gaetz, and they are addicted to spending our money. They sure are.
Yep.
They sure are.
Yep. And it's an addiction that's going to go away without us holding their feet to the fire, just as Matt's trying to hold McCarthy's and others' feet to the fire. All right, coming up next, a guy who I think would be an outstanding member of our city council. He's running for Alderman at Large, District 2, Pat Rossiter.
Post 2.
Post 2, yes.
Post 2.
Yeah, Post 2, whatever it is. All right, Pat is coming up next. Stick around.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
When I grow up, I want to work for a woke company, like super woke. When I grow up, I want to be hired based on what I look like rather than my skills.
I want to be judged by my political beliefs.
I want to get promoted
based on my chromosomes. When I grow up, I want to be offended by my coworkers and walk around the office
on eggshells
and have my words policed
by HR. Words like
grandfather,
peanut gallery,
long time no see,
no can do.
When I grow up,
I want to be obsessed with emotional safety and do workplace sensitivity training all day long. When I grow up, I want to climb the corporate ladder.
Just by following the crowd.
I want to be a conformist. I want to weaponize my pronouns. What are pronouns?
It's time to grow up and get back to work. Introducing the #1 woke-free job board in America, redballoon.work.
Welcome back to Get Real America. I'm Bill Edwards, and it's a pleasure to have a good friend, and we go way back. And I do mean way back, probably further than we want to remember. Pat Rossiter, and Pat has been a pillar of this community, as was his family, for God knows how many years, going back to just a time when I guess it was your grandfather that wrote City Beat?
Actually, my father. I'm the youngest of his 6 children. They finally figured out that my father and mother, when they were on opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean, didn't have children. So we had 3 before the war and 3 after the war, and I was the caboose.
Well, that was a great column that your dad had in the Savannah Morning News for years and years, and it was very insightful. When you wanted to find out what was going on in the city of Savannah, your dad had the info.
Well, that's thank you very much, Bill. I tell you what, City Beat touched the lives of many people. It crossed all sorts of boundaries, and it was a good way to start your morning, and everyone did with that in the Savannah Morning News.
Apropos nothing, but he was one of our guest speakers that we had at a Key Club dinner one night from Groves. He kind of came out and spoke to us at Williams Seafood, and just a terrific guy.
I tell you what, Dad did a good job, and his step into politics, I was about 15, 16 years old, so I was all eyes and ears, and tagged along with him to many things, and I think it's paid dividends in my older life.
Well, Pat, our genesis goes back to when you were a football coach as much as anything else, and I was doing television sports, and it was coming out and talking to you, and you established the football program at Richmond Hill High School, which has gone on to do great things. And it's been, and yet now you're dipping your toe into the water for politics. Do you see a correlation there between coaching and politics?
What I see is a correlation not only between coaching, but having spent 22 years in the inner city of Savannah, serving as assistant principal at Jenkins, principal at Myers, principal at Duran. I ran the adult ed program. Actually was an assistant at Duran and became the interim principal there. And then I ran adult ed for 9 years. Now, adult ed's interesting. It's now run by Savannah Technical College. Okay. But my job was to take every dropout in 4 counties. I had Chatham, Bryan, Effingham, and Liberty County in what they call Service Delivery Area 24. And the school system controlled adult ed at that time. And what my job was to weave a net up underneath the system and have them drop in. If they dropped out, they dropped in. And I had... we had great success, and there was a lot of negativity about the dropout rate in Savannah Chatham back in the early 2000s. And I called downtown and did some research. I said, I'm not sure you have the dropout problem the state says you do. I think I've got a drop-in problem, which means they're in my program. And as it turned out, the 2 databases for the adult ed program at the state level and the school system's state database didn't correlate. Yeah. So as a result, in Georgia, dropouts were classed. People who got into GED programs and achieved their GED were still classed as dropouts. So I went ahead and took a very large percentage of people that were classed as dropouts, technically by the state, and put them back into society. And as I told them, I said, the only thing you cannot do with a GED at the time is go into the military. And if the quotas somehow got to where they had some openings, then that was possible too. But it was rewarding. There was no doubt about it. I went to all corners of this city and took the approach I took as a principal, where we knock on the door. I would have met with Mama, and she wanted Junior in school. I knock on the door. Where's Junior? He's not here today. Well, he didn't want to go. I said, you want him to go? Yes, ma'am. Can I come in? Sure. Bang, bang, bang. Get out of bed. You're going to school on my school bus. So anyway, that was sort of the old down-home approach we took. But one thing it did, it gave me a chance to see where all of the people in the different segments of society lived. In all neighborhoods, crossing all socioeconomic lines. So it was a terrific.
Well, you're running for alderman, an at-large post, which means that you represent the entire city. You're running a district for District 2 alderman post. So that was a good foundation for you.
I think so. And as I said, I had one of the local media had in a column that I had no election experience and no political experience. This and that. And I would beg to differ. I would invite him to come run a school. And if you run a school, believe me, you have political experience. You have logistics experience. You have
diplomatic experience.
Diplomatic experience, but you also know how to clean, how to cook, how to do everything, how to serve. And to be honest with you, the principalship in coaching. I mean, you look at coaching, you're taking a group of individuals, you're having to come up with a common idea, get them ready for a performance, for lack of a better term, on a Friday night. So bringing together sometimes less cohesive groups and melding them into one sounds to me like a good resume for city council.
Yeah, and you have a goal to reach and everything else.
Exactly right. Yes.
Speaking of which, so why did you decide to do this?
I'll be very honest with you. I was just watching some of the problems on city council with some of the interference that just goes on. I'm sorry, I've used that term 2 or 3 times in my campaign swing, and it's nothing but interference because I think Mayor Van Johnson's done an excellent job. There are parts of his administration that I've not always agreed with. But I will say this, Savannah is a better place, having gone through what we had to go through with the COVID and the business. If we take that and say, man, this would be great if we had a cohesive group that could work, and I don't mean rubber stamping, I mean bring us ideas, let us bat it around. I just have seen a lack of statesmanship, a lack of ability to work across the aisle. I just see people who stand outside of the process and just say, I can't, they won't let me in this line, I can't play. That reminds me of elementary school in the sandbox. No, you have to get in. You have to work across. You have to represent all people.
It's the great compromise.
I would say that I think one of the problems that I'm seeing is that there's a difference between representing the entire population of the city of Savannah and being an activist for a certain portion or certain issues that come up before council. And I think at-large people, at-large candidates are supposed to represent all the people.
Yeah, and I think council has gotten a black eye about this because they get at loggerheads over something and start calling names and it gets personal rather than political as much as anything else.
Well, I mean, the personal aspect of it sometimes is it's relegated the city council to more of a reality show approach. I mean, I know people that go to watch the council things on Thursday night. It's like watching a TV program. I said, that should not be. And I think when I look back on coming up as a young man, I know that John Rosikis and Bowles Ford and Leo Center and my father and Nippy and Woody and all the other people, and then later on some of the other Harrison Tinney and some of the other people who came on council, I know they're just absolutely turning flips over what's going on. And you ask why I'm running. I think, quite frankly, I can do better. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to hear me say anything negative about my opponent. Both of us are members of the International Longshoremen's Union. I'm in 1475. She's in 1414. Part of our induction was we never say anything disparaging about another member of the union, and I'm not going to start in this election.
Good for you.
So,
What are your goals? What are you hearing when you're on the campaign trail? What are people saying? Okay, besides why are you running, but what do you want to do? What do we need to accomplish here?
Bill, this is a time when it's an opportunity for growth that's never presented itself like this in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this ranks up there with getting off the boat, Oglethorpe, and then walking on the land.
Yeah.
Seriously, the idea of starting salaries at $22 an hour in a Hyundai plant, or whether it be at Gulfstream, or whether it be at International Paper, or any of the other industries in Savannah, and there are many of them. I think one thing Hyundai is going to do is it's kind of like that rising tide. It's going to
lift all boats,
lift them all, which means the salaries in all of the businesses are going to move proportionally. I just think Savannah needs to be ready for that. I think I'm uniquely qualified for the job because as a principal and as adult ed director and principal at Richard Arnold, my job was to prepare students for what they were going to see in the future. Even more so with Richard Arnold because they had sort of stumped their toe academically, and it was my job to redirect and focus them so that they could be prepared for what's going to come. Well, I'm telling you right now, there's an economic tsunami coming here, and I think we need a city council that's cohesive, works together under a good leader, and just get ready to meet the needs.
Well, I think one of the things that we're talking about, Pat, as far as since you've been in education, public education and private education, that you know that we don't have as well good an education workforce as we need. A lot of companies have passed up on Savannah because they can't find a well-educated workforce. And that's something that we need to work toward as well, especially with Hyundai coming in here and others will follow.
I'm encouraged. I think the new superintendent coming in has some ideas. I think that honestly, education has to be made palatable for young people, and I think the way that you present information in the classroom is now more critical than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. The idea of the teacher is a dispenser of education. I think those days are gone. I see the role of the teacher, and as a principal, I was in the classroom every day. Mm-hmm. Every single classroom, every day, I made a visit. It was to the point where the teachers were never worried about me coming in, quote, spying on them.
Right.
No, that was not the case. I was in there so much that I just needed to get involved in the education piece, and I felt like it was important for kids to see that it was important to me. But the way in which we present knowledge to kids, we're a facilitator. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the key for us right now. We have to get back to the basics. I have to applaud Roger's initiatives, Roger Moss. His initiatives on the reading.
Yes.
And I'm sure the math is going to dovetail right into that the same way. I think all the statistics you've heard about reading on the third grade level, if you're below level there, the effect that has on your life, that's very true. Mm-hmm. The thing about it is, having taught adults who could not read, who hid the fact that they could not read, who put themselves in danger because the danger signs in the factory, they could not read. Mm-hmm. They adjusted to that, and it took more knowledge to hide the fact that they couldn't read than it did to learn how to read.
Exactly.
So I found out real quick that motivation is the key, and we have to get our kids motivated. We have to expose them to structured activities, not only after school, but during school. We have to have our parents armed with the basic knowledge that they need to be able to facilitate the homework issues and make sure that they're doing their part at home. And if everybody starts clicking, I think you're going to see some great things happen here in Savannah. One thing's for sure, I was a Benedictine for 3 years. That was my only stint as far as teaching in the private school. But opening up the charter school at Tybee, what was really crazy was I was at all my experience was Title I, and yet I was pegged to go to a charter school to open it up. And it illustrated one fact. All kids are kids. Mm-hmm. They have a different set of issues. I didn't see little Democrat and Republican kids. Right. I didn't see any. The fact was that everyone had a finish line, and it was my job to make sure they had the smoothest road to get there. And if they did encounter the hills, they had to make sure that they knew how do that.
Well, Pat, I don't think we have as much of a problem here as we have other places, but we see so much in the news now that they're getting away from reading, writing, and arithmetic, and they're teaching stuff that we hear about the transgender stuff, and the kids that are forced into saying whether or not they're going to be a trans or something, pronouns and things of that nature, rather than going after things that will actually help them in life.
Well, Bill, like I said, I didn't see Democrat kids, Republican kids.
Yeah.
I didn't see gay kids. I didn't see lesbian kids. I didn't see anything of that nature. The bottom line is I saw kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's our job to make sure they get their needs met and move forward there. As far as the school system goes, I applaud them. They've done an excellent job of navigating through all this water, and I think Savannah Chatham administrations over the past years have done a great job of steering clear of those national issues that end up popping in and getting more publicity than maybe they should have.
All right, we're into shameless self-promotion here, so tell people how they can get in touch with you and whether they want to vote for you or not.
Well, I urge you to get out and vote early. I think we start October 16th.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach me at rossiterforsavannah.com. We're doing an old-fashioned campaign. We've gone and put out about 4,000 or 5,000 little American flags with my card on the back, and kind of two reasons for that. Number one, people don't like to have their time interrupted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that way they can go straight to that mark on my card, and we'll go from there. So.
All right. Well, thanks for dropping by, and stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck on the campaign trail.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We'll be right back.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance, with integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Who is a kid? Well, that's a kid. And another. Look, a gaggle of them. Or is it a herd? Litter? Pride. But what about her? Tell her she's not a kid. Or him. So how do we tell who is a kid? Height? Age, maybe. But some of us have to grow up faster than others. A kid. A kid. A kid wants to make the world better. And one day, he just might. Is a kid fearless? Vulnerable? Strong? Nervous? Yes. 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 Kiwanis is 600,000 kids at heart doing all the little and big things it takes to help children around the world. Because kids need Kiwanis. All of them.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the world. Savannah. I'm coming home, Savannah.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
I think Pat Rossiter is the real deal.
Yeah, I think he'll be good for the city. He's a good balance. I think he's more of a moderate, which I would like to see more of that. I would prefer ultra conservative, but I also think that there's got to be a connecting piece between people that are conservative and people that are more liberal to really make sense of the best policy for the city. So
one of the things that he said he wants to work on, especially I'd like to see mayor. One of the things he needs to work on, he says he wants to get rid of these at the meetings because those meetings are televised live, and the constituents from the different districts can text in to their well, vote for this or bring this up or ask for this. And no, we're voting on one thing for the city of Savannah. Let's keep it, let's make the main thing, and worry about this other stuff later. We can have that discussion closed, one of those executive meetings or something like that. But he said, get rid of these for these meetings.
Yeah, he doesn't like them up on the dais because it impacts the conversation and how quickly they're able to get through things.
They'll
as
do
well.
that at school board meetings too.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I've seen some of the school board people sitting there looking at their phone when somebody is making a good point from the comments from the public.
Yes, I agree. They should get rid of those. So Steve Stanton Sr. says maybe Rossiter will make sure we don't end up like Detroit did once they got in the automobile business. A radical left home. And he loves Foxy Loxy. Very good. Make sure you go there often.
And please tell them that you saw it here. When you're out and about, whether you decide to get insurance or Bernard Williams or not, just call them and thank them for advertising with us.
Yes, it's very important. We need everyone's help right now. Make sure you become a member. You can donate. You can also advertise with us. So, yes. So, let's see.
For stockholders, you can make donations, anything of that nature.
Yes, so go to the local spin/GRA. And Foxy Loxy is awesome, according to Lizzie Warren. So Tucker, since he has been off of Fox,
the gloves are really off. You thought they were off when he was on Fox. He has really been able to take off the gloves now, and his audience has skyrocketed proportionally.
Yes, and I think he's covering things that are a little taboo, things that you really shouldn't talk about. It's improper, right, Bill?
Yeah.
One of the things is the stuff about Obama has been circulating like wildfire as far as, there's a lot of talk about him perhaps being gay or maybe, some drug use, things like that. So
we know about the drug use. Hell, he admitted it in the two autobiographies he had. It was amazing. A guy that was just in his 40s had two autobiographies.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it is amazing.
Unbelievable. He said it. They smoked this stuff. They did this stuff, and he hung around with the left. He liked the socialist left-wing professors. He hung around with them. What else do you need to know? The man's a communist. He was raised by a communist.
Yes.
He hates white people.
Well, and Tucker, if you have not been watching Tucker and you do not have a Twitter or an X account, now that it's called X, you should get one because it is probably the only platform where you can hear the most radical ideas on both sides.
Exactly.
You can have conversation, and that's what we need. So if you don't have a Twitter or an X account, I suggest you get one. But here's a little clip of Tucker's show.
You're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice. You had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
If the media really cares, it's a shame we don't have a media in this country.
Yes. Yeah, we just have propagandaists,
Exactly.
it seems like.
Yeah.
So, but Mary McCann Hybrider said everything about Obama is a lie. Yeah, I think that I think he was a created thing.
Oh,
the media helped create him and determine what we were going to think about him. And, he was a very good speaker.
Remember that Hope poster that they had? And it's amazing how they created this guy. And I still think we're going to find out. I had some friends that had gone to, were in Africa before, just about 6 months before the election. And they were in Kenya. And they were going up to, they were going to some place where they needed a gated type village or something of that nature, or preserve. And the guy at the gate said, "Oh, you're from America?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, the Barack Obama is going to be the next president," and stuff like that. And talked about how he was from Kenya, that we've always said that he wasn't. And they said, and all these people over there in Kenya seem to know so much about this guy. How is that possible?
Very interesting. Lizzie Warren says the info on Obama was public before his first campaign, but it was suppressed. And he was a great teleprompter reader. Yes, he was gifted. And I think that people really believed in what he said. And, the hope poster, I do recall it. But now it has turned into the revenge poster with Donald Trump, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
But the whole thing is, hope and change was the big slogan. Well, what does that mean? That's the most generalization. Okay, that if we walked outside today and the temperature was 12 degrees, that would be change. We might not like it as good change, but that's change.
Well, I was going to say there's been no hope, and they've changed a lot of things,
They sure
though.
have.
So
Yeah, they sure did.
They gave us what they said, I guess.
Yeah.
Steve Stanton Sr. says the truth comes out. It sure does, and I think that's the other thing that's awakened people. I think hindsight is always 20/20, and even my feelings towards George W. Bush have changed significantly since how buddied up he's been with John Kerry and Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And as Rush said, low information voters.
Well, the Bush,
Yes,
the whole
Lizzie.
Bush the whole Bush relationship with the Clintons. Remember when Bill and George H.W. Bush were going around the world solving problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Makes me a little uncomfortable. Makes me ask a lot of questions. But, the other person that's asking a lot of questions these days is John Kennedy from Louisiana. He is one of my favorite senators. He's very straightforward, and he just asks them a question, and he doesn't allow them to,
Gaslight.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is very direct, and he stops them and says, "You're not answering my question."
Exactly. And he was asking questions and was also reading excerpts from a book that's available to our kids in our school libraries, and something that we have been railing against for the last year.
Tell me what you're saying.
First of all, there's this.
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, and the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But what I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's
What
point.
are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
You're getting conceptual again.
I'm not getting conceptual.
Well,
I'm saying
yes,
that
you are. Yes, you are. Because I want to know what you're recommending. It sounds to me like what some of you are saying, the librarians should decide who gets to see that book?
I'm saying when individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a rape scene, should that book be pulled from our libraries? I think it becomes a slippery slope.
These people make some of the most ridiculous analogies. They even compare it to the Bible sometimes. The book he's talking about is that all boys are not blue, and it is pure filth.
It's disgusting. And they're saying that it's about sexual abuse. And I'm sorry, the graphic nature of these are not for children.
No,
not for
about
children.
Sexual pleasure is what this book is about, and on a homosexual type.
Yes, and both the books that John Kennedy read quotes from, I did cut the video because for me, I just cannot with these people. But both books read by Kennedy are in the SCC PSS schools here in Chatham County, says Lizzie Warren. And not one board member will read these books out loud. It's weird how that works.
So, yeah, and one guy who got thrown out of a board meeting because he started reading that, and they said, "Well, there are children present. You can't do that." Well, you let them read it in the library. How come I can't read it here?
Yeah, because it's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, and I'm really just disgusted with people that are arguing that this adds some sort of value to someone's life.
Or this is banning books and comparing it to the Hitler and the Nazis book burns.
Well, here's the other thing: they're saying that it's banning LGBTQ stuff, and I'm like, why does it always have to be sexual in nature? Like,
right.
That's the other thing. If that's what you guys want to be represented by, like, shame on you.
Yeah, for real. Well, we're going to keep it real. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember to become a member and donate today.
We'll be talking to the new president of the Savannah Chamber of Commerce.